this little, this little lick, and we had a producer in the studio. His name is Infamous. He produces a lot of stuff for Lil Wayne, and he was in the room. And as we were goofing around and playing a lick, he got the drum machine and he started making a beat. And 30 minutes later, there you have it.
So very spontaneous.
Sometimes it happens that way. Or sometimes, for instance, day 2 on the album, that started off with just a beat. And that took 3 months for it to come together the way that it did. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes songs take an hour, sometimes songs take, 3-4 months, So it all depends. So, and sometimes we'll get the beat and we'll play on top of it. That's a way. Or sometimes we would create using the violin first, and then we would put the beat on top of whatever we created. So it all varies. You know what I'm saying? We try not to limit ourselves as far as how we create, because you never know how a classic song, a classic record is going to be produced, how it's going to be produced. You know what I mean? It could be so many different ways that it can come about. You know what I mean? Just like cooking, if you're cooking anything, you could start with the eggs first or the seasoning first, whatever, it all depends on how you're going to cook it, you know what I mean? So the same thing with music and the same thing with creating.
I read that you often visit schools in order to perform and talk about the importance of music education in schools to young people. So I'd like to know something more about this experience and the importance that your message has into schools.
Well, we perform for 200,000 kids a year, and a part of that message is about not just about playing the violin, it's just about look at how we're playing the violin and how can you do something to think differently. And that's really important to us, because the reason you guys are here to see us today isn't because we play the violin, it is because of how we play it, and we can talk to every child and say, go play the flute in a different way, but that message isn't as broad as it is to say, whatever you love doing, do it over and over and over and over. And then someday someone's going to pay you to do it. And that's basically what we did. Like, we didn't go into this like, oh, we're going to be the best violinists. It was more like, okay, we like playing violin. We like playing it on hip hop. People like it. Let's do that all the time. And we're not the best violinists in the world. We're not the best hip hoppers in the world, but we do something that no one else does. And because of that, we've created a life for ourselves, and we've created something that we think is a legacy that we'll leave, because nothing like this has existed before. And that to us is more important to talk to kids about. It's just like, how can a child do something different than anyone else has ever done? And that's what we want you to take. We don't, if you play the violin, great, but how can you do something that no one else has ever done? And that is our message to children everywhere. Just, thinking differently and creating your own lane so others can follow.
Do teachers appreciate that, or they're stuck in a more educational?
Teachers love it. There's not a show that we perform that hasn't been a teacher that's like, I want you to come to my school. I want you to come to my school. Because you got to think of it this way, right? When you're a kid, you're coming to a black violin concert. It's loud. It's a hip hop show. And for a lot of the kids, that's their first show. You know what I mean? And we're playing a lot of songs that they've heard before. And we're doing it with the violin, something that they never thought was possible. So in turn, they think to themselves, oh, maybe I can do that with this or that or whatever it is that I like, you know what I'm saying? So that's the whole point, And kids just go crazy for it, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons why we're so passionate about playing for kids and talking to them, because in a lot of ways we're just like them, you know what I mean? Particularly in our communities back home, we try to give back, we try to talk to the kids, we try to play for them as much as we can, because they need that, and especially because they're taking the arts out of a lot of the schools back home, which is really sad, So it's definitely a mission for us, and something that we take very seriously,
And we think of it as a responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, we have been blessed with this platform, but if we don't, pay it forward and we don't talk to kids about it, then, we're kind of wasting it in a way. We want to inspire as many people as possible with this gift that we have, and that's crucial for us. To really, otherwise you just, it's a waste. You're just wasting the talent. and we want to pass it on. We want to inspire kids everywhere and make them think, hey, what can I do that no one else has ever done?
Stereotypes is a declaration to break down the difference, and in the video of the single there are several references of difference traits. So you think that the music at the moment can break the difference, the mental barriers?
That's the goal. That's the point. Is for the music to break your mind and break that stereotype, whatever it is, But at the same time, I think it's okay. We're different. We're all different. I think it's okay to embrace it different. The problem is for you not to look at me and think that I'm whatever you're thinking that I am. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. And like with us, we walk around, no one thinks that we're violinists. No one thinks that we play the violin. That's the thing about it. And then once we play, and they're just like, oh snap! I didn't think this football player could do what he's doing, or this basketball player. So that's the whole point. Now your whole perception has changed. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you thought a black man was able to do, whatever you thought a violin was able to do, is completely changed. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole point. We're doing that every time we step on stage. We're breaking stereotypes. We're opening up people's minds to the possibilities of just like, I don't know. You look at an old guy. Don't think that old guy can't take you. He's old, but don't mess with him. He's probably a boxer from back in the days. Don't mess with him. You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Or seeing someone, or seeing a woman thinking that woman doesn't know anything about cars. You don't know that. You know what I'm saying? She probably had a daddy that made cars. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. So it's just you can't judge a book by its cover. So.
Is it difficult to do it via music, or is the best medium to do it?
It's easy for us. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been doing it from the beginning. The moment I picked up the viola, I've been breaking stereotypes. Because you don't think someone that looks like me playing it. So it's not difficult. And for the people that are receiving it, I don't think it's difficult either. You just have to sit down and listen. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're open enough to accept it is up to you. But I'm going to continue to be who I am, and I naturally break stereotypes anyway. You know what I mean? So it's not a difficult thing for us, and it's all about the people that are absorbing it and eating it. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about them and whether they're open enough to receive the message.
In a way, it seems you like this wow effect.
I love it. I mean, that's a big part of why I play the violin, is because I shouldn't play it. Like, that's why I love it. Like, people are just like, what is that big black dude doing with that? I love it. It's next to the fact that it's an amazing instrument and I can express myself on it, right under that is because I mess their heads up and they're like, what is that? And I just love it. It's like my almost my favorite thing about playing it is that what I'm not supposed to.
And you come from classical music, of course, and a classical background. A lot of people today approach classical music as something very complicated, as something 21st century people cannot relate to.
Yeah.
What would you say to those people?
Well, it's not their fault. To me, it's classical music, as a whole. It's their fault because they haven't educated those new people to appreciate the music. You know what I'm saying? Classical music is like, it's like, I don't know, it's like someone that's really bougie, right? Someone that's just like, I don't need you, I have money, I'm okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, eventually you're gonna need me because you're gonna get old and you're gonna need me to take care of you. You know what I'm saying? That's what classical music is, and you have to be inclusive. You have to want the younger generation, the people that don't necessarily look like they should like classical music. You gotta welcome in. You gotta show them the beauty in this art form. And I think classical music hasn't done a good job of doing that, and that's why a lot of people don't have interest in it. That's why a lot of kids, when they hear classical music, you're like, oh, turn off that ballerina music or turn off that elevator music, because they don't have an appreciation for it. It's not necessarily their fault. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about what we do. I feel like we're bridging the gap between those worlds. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what we're doing, because someone will come to a black violin concert and would be open now to listening to a Vivaldi piece or a Beethoven piece now. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's what we're doing. That's a huge part of what we're doing. And it's not up to the listeners. Like for me, if I'm a producer and I'm an artist, you know, I can't get mad at someone that doesn't like my music. You know, that's them. They don't like my music, then that's fine. You know, and hopefully I have people that do. But it's up to me to understand why. You know what I'm saying? It's up to me to try to figure out, okay, is it up to me, or is it okay for me to just be who I am and just create music just for me? Fine. If you don't like it, fine. Or do I really want people to love it? And I got to figure out why. And then that's what you need to do. In classical music, you know, it's a beautiful art form. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. It's great. And I think people just don't understand, don't know it, because classical music hasn't invited them. You know what I'm saying? They haven't said, listen, come sit down with me and let's eat a sandwich together. You know, classical music's been like, I don't need you, I don't want you. I have plenty of people that love me. You know what I'm saying? That's classical music. But those people that love classical music are dying. You know what I'm saying? They're old and they're dying. So you need to include young people and people of color. You need to be like, come join me as I feast in this big table. You know?
Exactly. That's the truth. That's definitely true. Definitely true.
Is there a limit in what you do?
A limit? What do you mean?
So what we can do?
Yeah.
There's no limit.
Yeah, it's completely limitless. You know, I mean, it's music. You know, there's no limit. There's no ceiling to music. So, you know, we're trying to just take over the world one country at a time. And Italy, you guys are up next. So that's the idea. But no limit.
So for your European tour, there's been announced some concerts, and you will play before supporting two cellos. And I think that will be a complete of your formula. Pop, hip-hop, classical, whatever, all together. What do you think about it?
With about two cellos, you said?
Yes.
Well, I think it's great. We've just finished the tour with them, and it's amazing because their audience is our audience, so to speak, because Two Cellos is a very alternative group. Their alternative is based on classical and rock. Ours is based on classical and hip hop. So like, I think that the blending, you know, the blending of us and Two Cellos was just amazing. It really worked really well because their audience was open to something alternative, using something traditional as the main art form, you know? And I think that it really, really worked really well. We got standing ovations in Paris and Berlin and in Brussels. So, and that's the only 3 shows we played with them. So we went 3 for 3, and the guys are very, very cool, and they're super open to it, and it was really, really great working with them and working with their audiences and being able to get that opportunity to be exposed to their audience and show them our brand of classical and hip hop. So, really well.
First, apologize my English. Second, why back violin and not black violin? And third, I hear some Barocco, not only classical.
Yeah.
There is also some Barocco in your music.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll start with the last one. You know, someone said today, they were like, we're classical in hip hop, but it's Baroque in hip hop because we're very like Bach influenced.
Exactly.
Then, you know, very, very hip hop. And the reason why is because, okay, I think I like it to be I think that we like it to be as classical as possible. Like, if you love classical music, we want you to come in to listen. So just on a stylistically, like, we don't slide up to a lot of notes. We're very particular. We try to sound like a Bach cello suite or
like a cello, yes.
Like, we want to sound very, very classical, because if you're classical, even though I have loud beats and stuff playing, I want you to be like, man, I love that violin, because that's what relates to you. And then if you don't like classical music, you think it's boring or something, then we're like, and you're like, ooh, what's that? You know, and now we get you with that, because everything else in between is easy. But if we can get you with the Baroque, really pure sound, and we try to play very pure, and then we give you a hard hip hop beat like Panda or any of the stuff on the radio right now, then everyone in between will fall in line wherever they want. You know, that's kind of the way I think about it. So we try to be very pure with our music. But yes, more Baroque and like late romantic, like, you know, late Beethoven, you know, Brahms.
But that's the pop of classical. You know what I'm saying? Like pop music. You know, like that's pop of classical. So if someone's thinking of classical music, they're thinking of that type of music. You know what I'm saying? They're not thinking of Hindemith or
Stravinsky.
They're not thinking of that. They're thinking of, you know, that kind of stuff. So to answer your first question, why the name Black Violin? He went to college, and his professor, his first day, gave him a tape, and it was a guy by the name of Stuff Smith. He went home and listened to it. It really changed his mind of the violin. He sent it to me. I converted it to CD, so I didn't have to and I listened to it, and it did the same thing for me. And the album was called Black Violin, and that's why we named ourselves Black Violin. His name is Stuff Smith. He's an African American guy back in the 40s and 50s, playing the violin, and we heard it was just something that we never ever heard before. It's almost like the violin just had, you know, soul. It was just very soulful, very, you know what I mean? So it really motivated us and inspired us. And that's why we were thinking about names. It was just a no-brainer. Black Violin.
Mm-hmm. And then, you know, Black Violin.
Have you ever heard Anonimo Veneziano? Italian classical and pop music match.
What is it called?
18.
What is it called?
Anonimo Veneziano.
Yes,
In the 80s.
Never heard of it. I mean, I can't believe it. I try to study all of that. Anything that blends classical with anything. We're historians, and we try to study it. But yeah, I have to check it out. I definitely have to check it out. But I'll take a picture of it.
Sei troppo professionale.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there some kind of music that you really don't like, that you say, this is bad music?
I don't know if it's bad music, it's just not my taste, maybe. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure someone likes it, you know, so it's subjective. Is there a kind of music that I don't like? I like music that I listen to it, because when I listen to music, I listen to songs, I listen to the lyrics, I listen to, you know, what are you speaking about? And if it's something that doesn't speak to me, then it's not for me, and then I probably don't like it. And it could be something that's extremely musical. It could be a classical piece with lyrics that just, the lyrics doesn't move me, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it could be a hip hop beat, you know, just hip hop that I would love, but lyrically just not, it doesn't suit what I'm trying to, where I'm going. So stuff like that to me are things that I kind of stay away from, you know what I mean? Because I could listen to a song that's not hip hop, it's not country, I don't know what it is, and it moves me, you know what I'm saying? Lyrically it moves me, the music moves me, so it doesn't even matter the genre. If it's music and it moves me, you know what I mean? So to me, the song as a whole has to embody me, because you listen to music the way you listen to it, and vice versa. Everybody has their own vibe and what they're connected to, you know what I'm saying? And me, I'm connected to a certain thing. If a music doesn't do that for me, then that's just not for me. I'm sure somebody else loves it, but it's just not for me.
And then I think also to add to it, I've learned to really respect, you know, because when I was younger, they would be like, oh, I hate this song. And now that I'm in this industry, I've learned to respect everything. And it's like, although I might not like it and I won't play it, you know, millions of people may like this particular song. So, and that the artist is expressing himself, hopefully in a true way, and people respond to it. So, you know, it's very much like, I think of music very much like fashion, you know, like, you know, you look great in that jacket, but I could never wear the jacket, you know, like, but that doesn't mean it's not, well, I mean, you know, the good with my eyes, but it'd be a size bigger, but like, you know, I think that like, it's like, although that won't be my size, it doesn't mean that it's a bad jacket. You know, that's what I mean. And when I was younger, I used to hate like, oh, I hate this artist, I hate that artist. And now, especially in this building in Universal and everything, you learn to respect every piece of music, because there's so much that goes into that music, and there's so much that artist leaves on this album for you to enjoy or not or whatever. But I've learned to respect all music, so I don't dislike anyone. There's some I listen to more than others, and there's certain genres that I like more than others. But I respect all music, and because it's, you know, there's an artist that poured his soul or his or her soul into that music at some point. So that was.
And you talk about you said something about lyrics. So what about songwriting in stereotypes? Did you guys take care also of the lyrics, or did somebody else do it?
It was a collaborative effort. We worked with three writers, Andrea Martin and Angela Hunt, and also
Krasno from Lettuce.
Krasno. And so we collaborated with different writers, you know. But some of the songs, you know, we came in with lyrics and stuff like that. So
You sang as well, right?
yes, I sing as well. I've been singing. It's funny. It's just now I'm a singer, so I have to warm up and stuff before the show and do all this stuff, which is different because I just pull that out and start playing. So I'm a singer now. So yeah.
I'll go back for a second to the previous question. Can you define a good song for you? I mean, how can you understand it?
To give an example, you mean?
Well,
No, not an example, but
Define a good song.
Yeah. How is it a good song for you? I mean,
how is it a good song? I mean, a good song for me is a song that moves me in some way, whether it makes me, you know, happy, sad, inspires me, makes me cry. It needs to move me. You know, if after I listen to the song, emotionally I'm in the same place, then that song wasn't very good for me. That's just me. Not to say it's not a good song, but you know, the best songs, if you guys can think, you know, the best songs that you've ever heard, you remember the first time you heard it. And why do you remember the first time you heard it? Because you're like, as soon as it was over, it's just like, I love that song. You know, you don't know why. Or maybe, you know, there's a song like, and you're going through a tough time, maybe, you know, your boyfriend breaks up with you or something like that, and you play this song, and you're like, man, that song, it relates to me. It's me, it's what I'm feeling. Those are the best songs. If it's just a song, or even if it's a song and you put it on and it makes you get up and start dancing, and you and your girlfriends are dancing and having, then it moved you in some way. If it doesn't move you in some way, then it's just noise. If it moves you, then it's music, and especially the music that you will like, you know? That's how we think about it, I think, and it needs to do something. Like, something needs to change after you hear it. And if not, then, you know, maybe that's just for your experience, but, you know, we try to make sure that our music moves you, and not just one way. We don't want to just make you dance. We want to make you dance, make you think, inspire you, make you happy, relate to you, maybe make a song that you're like, wow, I went through that, you know? And tell a story that, you know, relates to you. And so that's how we think, or that's how I think, you know, music, especially songwriting, that's when it's at its best, is when you create an emotion out of people. And the best songs do that. Stay With Me, you know, all the Adele songs. The best songs, they'll move you in a certain way.
And how was performing for President Obama 3 years ago?
That was great. That was great. I mean, just being in that same room, you know what I mean? Like, we went on stage before Smokey Robinson and Usher, you know, so just being in that whole environment was really cool. And we got to meet the president, the first lady, you know, it was incredible. I mean, got to shake his hand, and, you know, so that it's one of those moments you never forget, right? I mean, you know, you think of, you know, some of the highlight moments in your life and your career. I mean, that's right up there, you know what I mean? And it was super cool, and yeah, something we'll never forget.
Yeah, and it's truly like, it's like hard to top it, you know? Like, how do you, what's bigger than playing for the president? And then shaking his hand the day that he takes office. So it's been very hard to be nervous for anything because what's bigger than that, you know? I mean, so it's, you know, it's one of those things. I remember when we met him, and we met him right before we performed, and we're in line with Alicia Keys, and Usher's in line, Smokey Robinson, Jamie Foxx. So we're all in this line, this queue to meet the president. And I walk up to him and I say, everything that I've ever done in my life has led up to this moment. And then he just chuckles, like he's like just like the Obama laugh he does. And then he says, the hard part is to figure out what to do next. And it was so real, like, you know, what do you do after you've performed for perhaps the most important person in the world? And, you know, it's been hard to top that moment for us. And that was now 2013, so almost 4 years, because he's about to the new election. So, you know, what's bigger than that moment? And
meet the next one.
Yeah, well, depends who the next one is.
Depends who the next one is.
I'm gonna leave that one alone, but I don't think no comment at all. But I don't think that whoever the next president is, it won't be better than what we just had. So, I mean, you know, what do you do? I mean, you know, we played a couple of Super Bowls, we've done all of that stuff. So what's next? So, but truly an amazing experience. You know, never forget it. You know, yeah. But it's also inspiring too. It makes us believe and know that what we're doing is real, because a really important person took notice. So it's really great.
There is every song. I really like the album. I listened to it, and there are a lot of things that caught my ear. Can I say that? And the last track is Running. And there's no lyrics in that, but just music, and I really like that. And I just wanted to know from you what's behind that song. There's like a sense of urgency, and it's the last.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called.
Where were you running to?
That song it's with the same producer that I spoke about, and he just played the beat, and we loved it. It had such high energy, and if you listen to it, it's such a hip hop beat. You know what I'm saying? That's just like hip hop, and we did what we normally do. We heard the beat, we loved it, we went in the booth, and there you go. You know what I'm saying? So that song was a classic. That's a classic Black Violin record, and the way that it was composed and the way that it came about was a classic Black Violin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that one started with just the beat, you know, so we had the beat already, and then we just put the orchestra on top of it. And there's another song, I mean, it took maybe 2 hours, 3 hours to record the song, and, you know, and other songs on the album took months, you know, so certain songs just develop, and then other songs are just like that. And the 2 songs we recorded back to back, and we did it was maybe like a day and a half in the studio. We recorded Running, and then the next day we recorded Stereotypes, and that's the beginning and the end of the album. And everything in between took like, you know, 3 months. But those 2 songs took like a day and a half to record. And those songs, quite honestly, it defines us the most, because, I don't know, I guess because this is the easiest to do, it's what we're most natural doing, you know, and didn't take much time at all. So it's a beautiful thing when it comes together quickly. So I feel like we should play something for them.
Okay.
You guys want us to play something for them?
Yes.
You guys, it was such a great interview. Pull out something, you know?
Ce lo meritiamo.
Well, tonight I'm not.
Yeah, you come to see it, please. We'll give you a little sneak peek.
Può passare, eh? Non mi prova così.
This is my
Sì,
This
sì,
is what I
dai.
play on stage. I can't play it now.
Oh,
I can't play it now because it doesn't really make sound.
same with Paganini. Same,
Yeah, right.
same violin.
Just like I,
Exactly the same.
yeah, same like Paganini. But this is-
Stradivari.
I'll play a Capriccio on this one, but yeah. Let me bring my tie. I brought my German violin this time. But we'll play maybe Stereotypes. Just freestyle.
Esatto, ciò che è, ci
No
sono
problem.
2 piani.
We haven't warmed up today, so we haven't even played anything, but do you see just this is breaking stereotypes? It just doesn't, just like the idea of it is just like, what is this? Like, look at these guys. Who, you don't see this playing violin. Trying to play stereotypes? Play stereotypes, maybe? Just beginning of it, something like that. So, yeah. Well,
Bravi!
I'm gonna cover it. Play a little visa. So we'll play a cover for you too.
But
Took a show in Ibiza.
oh yeah, my partner really liked that.
Yeah, he did.
Scusami, sono in mezzo alla-
Take a solo.
Grazie, thank you.